Welcome to Kolorflow Conversations. I am Uakeisha and this is
Tikisha.
And we are speaking freely, flowing freely, speaking blowly, and connecting colorfully.
Like,
oh,
you was just like, wait.
I'm saying it wrong. Listen,
what is it?
Hey,
we try to spruce up a
we
bit.
Trying to spruce it up, but we still learning, even though we are about 37, 38 episodes in now. I don't even know.
I believe this is 38.
It's 38. Okay, it's 38, but we have grown. We were just talking before we started about from the first episode to now, how I think the first episode I was so uncomfortable, or not uncomfortable, but just, this is were you speaking transparently about stuff, and I was kind of nervous, and now I just kind of let God, I think we both do, let God just use us, and it don't bother me no more. I'm not nervous no more.
Yeah, like I said, I was never nervous. I'm like, blah.
Like, I can't believe
vomit out of the mouth, and then later on I'd be like, dang, you said
I cannot
that?
believe you were never nervous.
I was never nervous.
Listen,
I never thought about like the logistics part of the introduction. Like, okay, like,
and that's changed over time.
With people who are going to see this, like, this is what you guys are doing to put out for the world, not just y'all recording at home. So I didn't think about those type of things from that first episode, but I feel like all along I was just like, I think I was more nervous leading up to it, but it's just.
Listen, I am wearing it's my birthday shirt, but it's my birthday week. My birthday just passed, and I'm celebrating all week now. At first, I wasn't celebrating. Last week, a week ago today, while we were recording, I was getting back-to-back calls. And when we finished recording, I look at the phone, and Tikisha looked at her phone, and we had calls from my sister, cousin, friend, and coming to find out my father had a stroke, and he ended up in the hospital that day, and he's still in the hospital today. But from a week ago to now, we haven't really talked a lot because I've been spending a lot of time at the hospital. We haven't even texted a whole lot. But I will tell you that he is definitely improving and getting stronger every day. And it's just been like my sister one night rubbed oil in her hands, and before she left, like, prayed and anointed him, girl. And the next day, because he couldn't lift his left hand to feed himself. And the very next morning I came in, and the man started eating with his left hand. So, like, if you be intentional with your prayers, things will work out for you.
So
but
does that make him left-handed?
He says he's even-handed.
Really?
He tells every time somebody come in and asks him at the hospital, like, are you left-handed or right-handed? He said, I'm even-handed. He writes with his right hand. He eats with his left hand. He shaves with both hands. He does everything with both hands. Yeah.
Things you learn.
Yeah. He says he's even-handed. And so I was trying to, like, force him to eat with his right hand. And he was like, stop trying to make me be like you. I eat with my left hand. And he was determined. And he got it in a week, in 7 days. When I walked in this morning, he was sitting straight up on the bed, eating with his left hand. And I was like, wow. But the bigger lesson out of all this is what I wanted to tell you. Because I always talk about transparency, and I feel like I talk a lot in the beginning. So give me one moment. The bigger lesson in this is when I always talk about how I want the church people, the pastors, to be transparent. And I'm going to be transparent in this because I be thinking, okay, what test is this for me? What am I supposed to learn out of this? Because I immediately got sad. I was angry that day. I had a lot of different emotions. And I had mentioned in previous episodes that my father had remarried, and how I got okay with it because, I want him to be happy. But what I did not mention in those episodes is that I didn't have a relationship with his wife. I never had a conversation with her. We barely would say hi and bye to each other. And I had in my heart, in my mind, that that's his wife. I want him to be happy. I don't have nothing to do with it. But when something like this happens, it's like God tests you where either you're going to be mean and like attitude-ish, or are you going to show the change in yourself of how you supposed to be? So from day one, it was the first day was like awkward because we have to talk to each other because she really don't know him like we know him. So when the doctors come in to ask stuff, it's like, and I can even say from last Thursday to today, this morning I left the hospital. I mean, we be in full conversation. I'd be like, you want me to go get you something to eat? You okay? Figuring out his care together. And I was like, man, you really sometimes would do things to really see if you really that surrendered person that you say you are. And I was like, man, I got the lesson out of this. It wasn't, oh my God, am I gonna praise God through my daddy getting sick? Because I'm gonna do that.
You're gonna do that anyway.
I'm gonna do that. But here it is, you got this difficult situation right here. And she was a very quiet lady, and she probably thought me and my sister was meaner, and we both, it's like we both just, instead of how some families get divided times like this, when the doctors give one of us an update, we bring her in, like, this is what they're saying, this is, and before I left today, she could tell how I am with when my mom got sick, I like take the lead on stuff. Before I left, she was like, you want to order, what you want to get for his lunch? And we sat down together, made the menu, and I was walking down the hall, and I was just like, thank you, God. Thank you, because I don't want to be in division with anybody with my father being ill. And I feel like I'm passing the test intentionally with a good heart, not because I'm forced to, but just, nobody had to say, y'all need to, come together. No, because I got God in me. Nobody had to tell me, y'all need to come together. Now she actually getting to know me. She getting to know our kids. Our kids being there now. I'm literally talking about we all ain't never had no conversation at all. Now my kids in there. She's getting to know the grandkids, and we all sitting up laughing and talking. And I was like, I felt like I was making my mama proud too. I felt like, she don't want us to be in division with anybody. And when you got, we done talked about this with like your father's single too. And I how hard it is.
Yeah, because no.
You say no now. You say no now. And your father's a little different from mine. Your father was okay just being by him single that we know of.
Heavy on that we know of.
Heavy that we own. Because
yeah.
But if it came to that, I believe you would probably be the same way.
I would be the same way.
I know you would.
I would be the same way. I would be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, I would probably get physically ill.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I would have to push through that.
You have.
And I just know how my body works. And that's why I said that, because I know I would be like literally saying I want to throw up.
I think the first day when I got to the hospital, I felt not physically ill, but just eerie, like what's about to happen. Like, this was my worst fear though, that something would happen to my father and I gotta talk to somebody I don't know. That I have an idea in my mind of what she's like, transparent. She probably have in her mind of what we're like, because we don't know each other. We ain't never tried to talk. But now,
and so many people, like, we do that in our lives in general. We make assumptions about other people all the time when really you've never had a conversation with them.
And it's just like if you friends with somebody, not you particularly, I'm just saying in general, and your friend don't like somebody, they're telling you their side, and then you have an assumption of how they are because of what the person you closest to tells you.
Said. Yes.
Yeah, and that's how I kind of was. I've never had a conversation with her. And over the last three, I would say it didn't start the first day. It probably started maybe by day 3, but we started easing into, let's see, he went to the hospital Thursday. I guess by Saturday, we started kind of, because I was like, she's older too. And I was like, this lady not eating. And she is here every day, all day by my father's side. And I said, do you want me to get you something to eat? That's kind of what broke the ice. And she was like, if you don't mind, because she had to take medicine too. I said, I know you haven't taken your medicine. I'll go get you something to eat. And that's kind of how God wants us to be. Like,
yes,
you got to just, and I'm like, what I look like not offering her, and I'm younger and I'm doing all this for my day, and I'm sitting here looking at you like, I don't care about you.
Yeah, like, make that make sense.
Make it make sense. And that's how we be. We be like treating people like crap based on your assumption.
Yeah, based on the assumption.
I know people done had assumptions of you.
Oh, yeah.
And me probably, but mostly you, because, and I'm saying you and not in a bad way. I know you know that. I'm saying you because you didn't take no mess off of people for years, even as a young child. And your face showed it.
And it would bother me so much when people would be like, it take more muscles to frown. I'm just like, this is my face.
Yeah. It was like,
I don't feel no I'm using no muscles. This just my face.
Yeah, you just, if it wasn't funny to you, you wasn't gonna fake no laugh. And they'll probably be like, she mean, or she a B, or she this. And I never thought that. But I never made assumptions about you. But I think my sister is probably the similar, like people make assumptions that a person is mean just because they are direct.
Yeah.
Or just, I don't want it that way. I know what I want. I want it this way.
Because they're stepping into those established boundaries. That's all.
You
get frowned upon when you have boundaries and you stick to them.
But these wasn't even boundaries that we just was not trying to have no relationship. Because I was like, that's your wife.
Yeah.
But now
it was an invisible boundary.
It was.
Because you kind of put some up, you know what I'm saying? But it was invisible because it didn't appear as though it was a boundary. But you had really set one, like, I don't need to know her. That's just his wife. So you had placed her in that category. And based on your boundaries, that category didn't need to interact with your life.
It did not.
But I just look at God, because it'd be so much that we just really act from a place of being petty. Because what do you gain from being a mean girl?
Yeah, exactly. And I've never been a mean girl, but I was mean in this situation.
Yeah.
Not mean like, just
already going into it, upset, or just knowing like, I don't even talk to her, but like.
Yeah. And I've never been a mean girl. I've always pretty much got along with I was a people pleaser. So mean girl wasn't even in my vocabulary. But when it came to this, my daddy, you about to marry my daddy, I ain't got nothing to say to you. You his wife. It was like that mean girl spirit was on me. Like, and I'm not saying I'm just like all better now. It's still difficult at times. It's still kind of hard because, it's still kind of new. And I'm like, and now that he has had this stroke and he's going through a recovery process, you have to learn to work together. And I still have to respect her as his wife. Which is, when people say marriage don't matter and y'all be in them relationships for 10, 20, 15 years and he your man and you think that they gonna call you first, your relationship don't matter. I don't care what people say. It don't matter, because if he got kids, they gonna talk to the kids.
Yep.
So stop thinking that y'all good, because if y'all been together almost a decade and y'all ain't married, you really don't exist. You that special friend, that obituary. You are. But that's my lesson for, this week. I was like, if I And I want to help other people. And I always talk about people being transparent. That's my transparent story this week. That's the lesson I've had. And of course, me and you text, but we hadn't texted this week. And I wanted to tell you that, like, girl.
Because I was wondering how it was going.
I figured you was.
Yeah, I was wondering how it was going, but I was never concerned that it wasn't going how I thought it was going to go.
That's what's
if that makes sense.
It does.
Like, I never
You was never worried.
Yeah. You know how you've been like this reverse for me. Like, I was never worried. And I'm like, well, I was over here at, but that's how I was from that day. I was just like, I'm just going to say a prayer. And that's what I did.
And you never even asked. You asked about him, like, how you doing today? But now you didn't even ask that all the time. Some people over, how you doing? How you doing? You never asked me how that's going. You never.
Because I already knew. I know how we were raised.
Mm-hmm.
And that term, be the bigger person, I hate it so much.
But it's true.
But sometimes we need to pull out how big we think it's being. Because I could only imagine, and I'm just saying, like, if my dad was in this situation and there's, because he's been sick, and then this special friend show up, I can only imagine, because my daddy didn't see me act a fool before. So I can only imagine the anxiety that he would be dealing with on top of what he's already going through. And I know that neither one of my parents will want me to behave
like
that way. And I've had a situation where I was in that.
And you acted a fool.
And I acted a fool. Like,
I know.
Don't talk to me. Don't talk to my son either. Really, how you get home.
And when you're in that situation, you have to think about your father and how you don't want him to have anxiety or blood pressure rise or mother.
And then it's just like the spouse or special friend. How intimidated are they feeling? What are their emotions? Because we get so caught up in how we feel in a situation, we don't even consider how they felt coming into the situation.
And that's what God really was showing me this week when I started to interact with his spouse. I was like, here my daddy go with these two grown daughters that probably is a strong presence when we walk in, honestly.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, can be probably a little, and I hate to use the word intimidating, because we ain't coming in aggressive, but we coming in.
Right.
And she probably has looked like, I'm just going to deal with my husband. Like we say, we're going to deal with our father. And I'm not going to deal with his grown daughters. And we're going to deal with our daddy. We ain't going to deal with you. But now that we all in this room together.
Yeah.
And when they take him out, we all like this.
Yeah.
And when they talk about his care, it's like, okay, Keisha, being the bigger person means, and I used to hate being a bigger person. Now it don't bother me.
I still hate that phrase.
Because it should be another phrase.
Because it should be another phrase, because when it say bigger, it make it seem like you're being better.
And
I think that I get so caught up in that part of it, which, my brain.
I think bigger, somebody has to
just step forward.
Somebody has to step forward and I step forward in not just this situation, in other situations where I was like, it's almost like you have to realize that's your breakthrough, not you being the bigger person, because you ain't doing it for them.
Yes,
it's really your breakthrough, and not that you're a bigger person.
Yes,
it's your breakthrough. So every time
I said yes about 100 times. I'm just thinking, like, when I play this back, I'll be like, yes, preach.
But it's your breakthrough, and your breakthrough brings free. It brings every breakthrough I have brings a level of freedom. For me. So And remember we talked, I can't remember what episode it was when I said there's levels to healing.
Yes.
There's journeys to it. This has just been another level that I broke through. Mm-hmm. And my sister.
Yeah, absolutely.
We both broke through. And it's crazy because and I know she know it too, and I'm sure we'll talk about it because we all going on our time this weekend. But I'm sure when me and her had a conversation about it after, it was almost like it was natural, like, oh yeah, we need to let, I'm not gonna say her name on here, mm-hmm. but we would need to let her know that blah blah blah. And we do it like it's natural conversation because we both had a breakthrough.
Yeah.
Not the bigger person. We both just had a breakthrough where we okay now. We okay. It ain't no.
And you know what? Two people have to understand, and I'm people.
Preach to yourself, girl.
Sometimes when you have that breakthrough, it doesn't end like you expected.
It does not. Because we still don't know the ending. You know?
But yours right now where you're at is what I'm saying is in a good place.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We don't know the ending, but sometimes when you do it, it's not necessarily where you feel like you're in a good place.
Yeah. Yes, I understand.
You see what I'm saying? Yes. Where it's just like, man,
I gotta do this. Yeah.
You still feel heavy about it.
And I don't feel heavy about it. I feel free. I think every time I have a new level to healing, a new level to this spiritual journey, that it just be like, oh, another weight lifted that I didn't even know was there. Because I literally didn't think I was wrong for not talking to the lady. I didn't. I felt like I'm respecting my father. I'm respecting his wishes. Mm-hmm. I don't have to talk to her. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, God show you. Now, how you going to have the fruits of the spirit and you won't even have a conversation with, you know, how you going to get up and talk to people and say, I'm trying to help. I'm trying to heal.
Yes. And what did you tell us? The major part of your healing journey was forgiveness.
Forgiveness.
And like we talked about, sometimes that's you forgiving yourself for that invisible boundary.
For the invisible boundary. Yeah. Yeah. And allowing yourself to have the breakthrough. Because I could have been like, I'm not doing this, God. I'm not. I don't like it. I. Because that's how we be.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you will eye yourself to death.
Yes,
I feel, I want, I need, I. Not what he wants you to do. Just I feel this. I feel, I want. When I took the I out of it, the situation, and realized that it got to be, okay, what you want me to do, God, because I would do this, honestly. I would do the opposite. I will still be just sitting in the room quiet with her, like. But when I think about how I'm gonna be an example and say, I want the pastor to be transparent, and I want them to tell me how they made it through. How can I want that if I won't do it? So I'm telling y'all.
Yes, for real.
You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you that these be. After I think about it, it'd be like, this is such a menial situation.
That'd be my thing. That'd be my thing where it'd be like, this is just so
trivial. Like, come on, you.
Why did I waste my time on this?
Yeah, why did I waste my time?
Like I should have passed this test right at the beginning.
At the beginning. Girl, because I'm not in the wedding picture at all. I ain't got no reception. But I don't have regrets. I attended the wedding for my father so he can know I was there. I ain't got to stay. But when I think now on that, I don't have regrets, but I feel like it was a stepping stone to my lesson for me to come right here and tell other people, y'all can act ugly in the beginning. Mm-hmm. You can act, and this could be any situation.
I agree. Like, this is giving you a testimony, but it makes me think back to that week when I was talking about, like, we be given the chance right there. And sometimes we don't even realize it when we see it. And then it be like, that retrospect, that, what is it called? Hindsight.
Yeah.
But
Girl.
But it got you here to be able to tell that, and that, like, to see that and know. Because I told you, like, you look so good. You do not look like you've been out here ripping and running the streets and sitting at a hospital for hours. And if you had that spirit on you,
I would look like
it.
And that's what people need to know. When you said that to me, and you was like, you look so pretty. And you was like, you don't look like you've been going back.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about that, like, that's because I freed myself and let the breakthrough happen. So you never gonna look like what you don't go through. Yeah. You're gonna never look like what you go through if you do the right thing.
Yeah.
If you sow the right seed. I'm reading in Job now. I done got to Job.
Oh, I'm so glad you have gotten to Job. And let me just tell you why, because I don't know what happened, but clearly it's a Job side of TikTok. All my TikTok the last couple of days have been about Job. Then I had a friend call me, text me, and sent me this thing from, I think it's a social media site I'm not on, so I couldn't access it. But whatever it was about Job. And I told her, I said, maybe this is a sign for us to reread it. I'm like, and we started next month. I was going back and forth, but I'm trying to read Ecclesiastes.
Girl, but I'm in Job, and when it's funny to me. Funny, I use the word loosely.
Yeah, we do that so loosely.
It's not funny, but it's just interesting. I'll say that I am reading Job now, and it's always something that I'm going through or something I can relate to. What I'm reading that relates to now. So Job was tested. Satan said, you protected him. That's why, but if you let me have him, let's see if he'll still. Mm-hmm. So I feel like, even though I haven't suffered in this situation like Job, but I feel like God allowed you to be tested.
Yes.
And I could have been like, and I'm like, man, but maybe me reading Job at the same time has also helped me through this situation, because I related to what I'm going through at the time. Like, my father's ill, Job got ill. I'm not the one ill, but I'm the one that could be being tested right now. And I was like, man, don't let me fail this test. This is, I'm not about to do this. And Job friends was saying, you must have did something wrong. You always have friends in your ear that be so wrong.
Yes.
I ain't got no friends in my ear, but I'm just saying in general that be so wrong when you start to listen to these friends. And Job didn't listen. He was like, no, I ain't got past the friends part, because Job was praying in the middle of him having these conversations with his friends. And I was like, man, this is so deep to me. Girl, and I've heard this story for a long time. This is my first time.
I think like his story is pretty popular.
Ooh, yes, it is. It's pretty popular. I knew the story, but to read it,
I will tell you, the first time I was introduced to Job was when I had Jordan, when I was pregnant. Ironically enough, one of the guys I was dealing with, I would have conversations with his mother. And during this point in my life, she was just like, you need to read the book of Job. And that was my first time really being introduced to it, because when I'm just like, I know you ain't deep in there, but it's just like, people need to know, like, he really did question God.
He was like, why are you, like, I've served you and loved you, and like, you the one and true only living God. Like, why? What's happening? He lost his family, all his money, his health. His wife was like, you a fool, curse him and die. Child, and his friends was coming to you must have did something. Like, imagine that type of suffer. And then I was like, people were like, why do you have to suffer as, a believer? But that's part of it, long suffering, to get you through your breakthrough.
Yeah.
to get you through your breakthrough. So I think about this P. Diddy situation too, with the being tested, because I feel like he was blessed with wealth, family, riches, fame, friends. You know, he was getting lifetime achievement awards, but the life he was living semi-secretly, you know, he had years to correct it. He had years to correct, and now no amount of money is getting him out of it. Nothing. Nothing is getting him. You reap what you sow. So I'm trying to sow good seeds.
Same.
You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to sow good seeds because, I mean, yeah, he rich and everything, but all of us who have our, what you call regular lives, we gotta sow good seeds too.
Yeah. I want to keep my regular life.
Yeah, I want to keep my house. I want to keep my business.
Yeah. I don't mean that I don't want to grow, but
I at least want to keep what I got.
This. Yeah. Yes.
I at least want to keep what I got.
At a minimum.
Girl. And I was like, he losing everything. And I was like, man, and they like, that's what he get, blah, blah. I'm like, no, this is bigger than him. This is God doing a work. And people are missing the point that they think, oh, it's just because he, you know, I'm like, no, he is making this man an example of what he want us to do in our regular lives. There's so many people doing stuff behind closed doors that's dirty that you ain't no millionaire, but you still doing dirty.
Right. Every day.
Every day. So I'm like, let me pass the test. Every test he give me, I'll be like, reveal the test in this situation so I can pass it. Because I'm trying to sow good seeds. Because I want to keep what I got at least.
Yeah, me too.
Right.
I really be trying to sow good seeds, and I really be trying to pass the test. I think sometimes I put too much pressure on myself.
You do. You do. You do.
Because I'm so focused on it that it's just like I need to calm down and relax and spend more time in the now.
I literally text you today and said, relax. You remember?
Yeah, I remember.
I was like, girl, relax.
And I was just like, I can't. But I'm not going to reply.
You did not reply, but I don't think that he wants you to get overwhelmed the way you do. I don't believe that he wants you to stress, because we always talk about everything be working out. Like you get to a place where you be like, oh my God, I really can't think. I got to think. You overthink it. You're thinking about 5 different things.
At a minimum. 5 probably too low. All at one time.
And I was like, and we texted this morning a little bit. I was like, girl, relax. I don't know why I'm in such a relaxed state, even when stuff be like going crazy. I'll be like, okay, it's gonna work out.
It's just like I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. And I feel like this is something that might be an off-camera explanation before everybody be like, loony bin her immediately. So we're just going to sidebar that one.
It'll come back another time, because a lot of people overthink. I used to overthink stuff to the point where I got a headache, and I'm sure you do now, to the point where you get like a headache and almost make yourself sick, or make, you know, anybody watching, make yourself sick thinking about what you got to do, what's going on, you doing this, especially women, I'll say.
And I know, like I said earlier today, like I know I feel my emotions.
Yeah.
So I know if it's something going on that I don't like, I know my stomach. I'm going to feel it.
Yeah. Yeah. And now I've learned to relax. Like, even with my father having this stroke, I am not, some people get stressed out because you know it's going to be a recovery period that I'm naturally going to step into. And it reminds me of when my mother had her stroke. She was a little worse off than my dad. So I'm like, I can do it again. It's okay. You know, it's just, you know, I might have to change my schedule around a little bit. And, you know, my daughter need a car, so I can probably be with my dad when I need to. So when my daughter it's moving parts that I'm not allowing to stress me out. Mm-hmm. So, and that's why I'm like, we got to learn to relax.
So mine is a little different. I have so many moving parts that I'm trying to sort them out. And some of them don't be my own moving parts. And we, like I said.
Yeah, I get you.
Say that for later. But yeah.
Well, yeah, but that's the message for us today is like, are you going to break or break through? Are you going to break or break through? And, I don't know if I'm going to pass every test, but, that one I feel like I'm in the process of passing.
So I have a fake little theory that if you are diligently seeking him, can you fail? You may be presented with the same situation over and over and over in different formats until you get it right. But can you really fail if you're diligently seeking him? I think the only failure would, and I don't want to even say it's a failure, but I think the only end game would be just not living anymore. Because of every day, even if I'm not buried in my word on Monday like I might be on Saturday, but every day if I'm making some type of communication and it's just in my heart and I'm diligently seeking him, because I want my path straight. Straight. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to go left. I don't want to go right. I want to go straight. So I just feel like where you're supposed to be is why they say like the not denied, delay, it's just divine timing, because I'm just supposed to be right here in this moment. Because I feel like one of the worst situations that I was in brought me closer to God than I had ever been in my entire life. So many things led up to that. Some I think technically was more disastrous. But I still wasn't calling out on God like I call out on him today. And I trust him. Because before I was calling, I'm still dialing.
But you gotta trust.
But now I'm trusting. I'm trusting that he picking up that phone. He ain't saying nothing, but that phone off the hook, and I know that he hear me. And I know it's going out in the cosmos, and this is when it comes in where I'm trusting the signs, because I asked God for a sign. So that's when I'm trusting the process. But I feel like it's no failure. It's just you delay when you're diligently seeking him. And that's the part that I think is the link of it all.
This last
because
week,
now you're more in your word than what you was before.
Yeah. This last week though, it's been I don't know if struggle is the word, but probably because I get home and I be so tired after being at the hospital and stuff. But like praying and everything has been like, I didn't want my prayer to be like a routine prayer, like God heal my father, heal. So sometimes I don't say anything much, or I'll just talk to her in the morning like, well, me and my daughter pray every morning. But when it came to this situation, I felt like, let me listen. I think that sometimes we just need to listen for the message, for the sign, which is what I believe he gave me for me to have the breakthrough on this situation. Because at first when he had the stroke and I was just, that day I was just kind of drained, like, man. But every day it was like, what is it you want me to do? And I wasn't really praying like I usually do. I wasn't even really writing in my book. I was just like, it would be quiet like this. Like I would read our one book we have for the daily like journal, but I'd be like, what is it? And I felt like when I would walk into the hospital, he was giving me direction without me. Lord, let your will be done. Lord, please fill my Father. But it was just like, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes even when I don't ask for the sign, now I'm in a place where sometimes he just give it to me. Like, I think wherever I'm reading, like right now, I'm reading Job, it was like, oh, let me think back on this story. And I literally would stop reading and just be staring at the ceiling like, now, how does this relate to me now?
You know, you just said something and it keeps replaying in my head, and that probably is my problem. Because I'm asking when I get so many signs all the time, and I'm probably asking and getting what I'm asking for, and then I'm getting an overload of, and I don't know which bucket to put it in. So that's too, because yesterday I had an overwhelming feeling of I needed to be calm.
Yeah.
But saying that is just like, because you're right. I get signs all the time.
I mean, I literally just showed you right before we started about the hotel address. And I was like, I was questioning something. I was like, man, this ain't no coincidence.
This is supporting your answer.
And I didn't even ask for, like, should I do this? Should
and that's
I not?
The other thing where it's just like, because it depending on where I'm at, I may do my long like prayer thing, but lately I've just been saying the Lord's Prayer, and that's just
Tikisha, I have too. When I say I haven't been doing like the routine prayer, like I didn't want it to be routine, some of the days it's just been the Lord's Prayer. Literally, like the Lord's Prayer.
I had another friend, I was telling her, and she was, because I was like, I've been waking up in the middle of the night, so I'll just say that. And she was just like, her too. But yeah, because I was sure, and I mean, it tells us sometimes we don't even know what we supposed to be praying.
Yeah. And I think, and that's why I didn't know what to say. And I never got to that point, like, okay, I don't really know what to say. And I don't want to just be God pleading to him to do something. And so sometimes it's been a Lord's Prayer, sometimes it's been nothing. Where I'll go and read, then I'll think about what I read, and I wouldn't even pray before I went to sleep. I would just kind of calm myself to listen and pay attention to, like, okay, you about to give me some type of message. And sometimes I didn't get one, but then when I wake up and I start my day, I start my day with intention of doing the right thing. And I was like, oh, you give me my answer right there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
You just do the right thing today. Everything don't have to be no, Father God, I need, just, no pouring out session. And sometimes you have that, but everything, I'm realizing it don't mean that I ain't in Christ or in God or the Holy Spirit not in me because I'm not.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So this has been the last 7 days of, first I felt like I'm stressed because I would start trying to pray and my words wouldn't really come. And I'd be like, that's when I said, maybe I ain't supposed to be saying nothing. When I felt like I was supposed to say something, I didn't know what to say. So I'll say the Lord's Prayer. And as I say the Lord's Prayer, I'm thinking about that. And I used to just say it in routine, but I'm thinking about like, oh, okay, I can say that. That's good. That's good enough. And so I just been listening lately and calming myself. And, it'll come to me when it's time for me to have those moments that I have in my living room when I be like, oh, you hugging me, Lord. But everything ain't got to be like that. So, that's my lesson for the week.
Thank you. We appreciate it. We appreciate you being transparent and showing how, how easy it actually can be for a breakthrough.
Yeah,
because freedom, like, that's priceless. So if doing this little itty bitty thing is gonna lead me to a state of freedom, okay, I'm in. Count me in. Count me in.
Yeah, because we be tested with family. We know we be tested with friends, but I think more so with family because those are people closest to us. Closest to us. So it hurts us when we are not together. But I believe that the breakthrough is going to come with family members based on our intention, your intention. So even when they don't show you love in return, that may hurt our fathers, you know what I mean? Then you just keep showing love because that's going to help the fathers. You know what I mean? If everybody's stupid, then that's a problem.
Oh, child.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If everybody, so sometimes you can't be quiet. You have to give some reassurance that, oh, we all good. It's all love. It's gonna be okay. Or not even say it's gonna be okay. It's just, oh, we good. People be going through their thing. Yeah. It's not a big deal because if we don't say anything and be quiet, then I believe it could. I believe my father probably didn't like that we didn't talk to her. You know what I'm saying? He never said anything, but it probably weighed on him at 86 that.
Yes, and like thinking about it and thinking back to that being one of the first things that he brought up, him speaking aloud to it to other people was an indication right there
that he was
but
bothered.
We didn't pick up on it the way that we should have. Because here I am, still this same spiritual friend that was on the other end, like, yeah, like I get it.
Yeah.
Like, I get it, okay.
I'm on Keisha's side.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't say, like, girl, now you know that ain't right.
Yeah. But we never talked about it like, you never said, I'm on your side.
Yeah,
it was just like,
okay, it is what it is. But sometimes as a friend and as a loved one, when you know that this shit is bigger than us,
it's big, yeah.
When you realize that it's just bigger than us, then you need to speak what's right.
What's right.
And sometimes what's right is what's uncomfortable.
It's what's uncomfortable. So I'm telling you, situations are the same but different. Be intentional with how you show love, and the breakthrough is going to eventually come. You know what I mean? We got to be intentional because we can't be like how we was being in my dad's situation where it was like, whatever it is, what it is. No, we got to do what's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
To have the breakthrough.
Yeah.
You got to do what's uncomfortable.
You have
so, I feel good about it though. I think once you do it, once you be intentional and you diligently seeking him, because that's part of me diligently seeking him, you feel better about it. Now it's like, okay,
Yes, I can attest to that because I done did some things that I'm like, you for real? I gotta do this. Okay, here we go. Boom. But afterwards, it's just like, okay, I'm glad I did that.
It wasn't no big deal.
It was no big deal. It was relief. I did what I was supposed to do. I was obedient.
Yes.
And that in itself just made me feel good.
Yes. That's all. I'll be like, I used to think the stuff that I'd be obedient about was going to make me look stupid. And I think that's what a lot of people probably think, like, that's going to make me look crazy. I'm not doing that. I don't really care. I don't care.
I don't care how I look. As long as I'm feeling good about me, I back to the I in this situation.
Yeah,
that's all that matters.
Yep, I'm good. So
because I know I am living every day wanting the best version of myself.
Yes. Yes.
And I need guidance for that. So
girl,
there's no better person for me to go to than my Lord and Savior.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You know, and I want my mama to be up there bragging to her little angel friends. Like, look at my daughter.
Listen, okay.
Living out all her dreams.
Man, I'm telling you. Same. Like, hey, you want to come up here with me, don't you? Better get your butt right.
Better get it right.
Better get your butt right.
Get it right. That's the message for y'all.
Better get your butt
right.
Get your butt right. Listen, we want y'all to like, listen, subscribe. Did this help you today?
It did. Thank you.
Me too. I'm glad I was able to share with you. Me and my sister is in it, so we didn't talk about it, but it just happened naturally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I'm able to share with you, and now I'm sharing it to the world.
Yeah.
That, hopefully it helps somebody, because I feel like this is a situation, not the exact same situation, but I'm sure we all have something similar like that in our lives that we can correct.
Yeah, because it's just as simple as, like I said, something that's a misunderstanding that wasn't a misunderstanding. Because if you would have just been a good, kind person, you would have got to know it from the beginning. Boom, bam.
Yeah. Hey, y'all, like, listen, subscribe. Let us know what you think in the comments. We be saying
Find y'all a good support system too.
Yeah, you need a good support system. If you don't have a good support system,
email us.
Yeah.
We can talk about some things
we can talk
to be the support system, because that's important. Because just imagine if I would have said some things to you in certain situation, or vice versa, or just us individually with other people in our lives. But sometimes you just be where you at in your life.
Yeah.
So sometimes you don't always want to be with somebody that's just where you at, because I want to level up.
Yeah. Hey,
and we look at that as, okay, I'm being started a whole nother conversation, but we look at that like, people get that jealousy and envious spirit, but no, I want to know what you're doing, sis.
Yeah, me too.
We're trying to level up over here, so we're trying to cross these hurdles real quick. Boom, bam, 7 days on to the next.
We're trying to reap the benefits of the good seeds we sowing.
Yes.
Okay, so if you ain't sowing good seeds, and if you ain't sowing good seeds, if you're not sowing good seeds, if you got some stuff you need to correct, if you feel like I don't want to be the bigger person in this, I'm always a bigger person, but you better at this moment think about that, and think about, do you want to be bitter or have a breakthrough? And I ain't trying to be bitter. I don't care to be bitter. It's not a good feeling. I'd rather have a breakthrough and be the bigger person.
Yes.
So we see y'all next week.